Wala mo ng halaman on this side because it snapped. I'm waiting na ngayon na may magising siya dito. So for now, white background na muna until mag-blush na naman tong pot na to. Hi, I'm Aris and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I want to discuss how I take care of my ZZ Raven plant. So before I discuss how I take care of my ZZ Raven, I just want to... So a few videos ago, sinabi ko na yung friend ko and ako maglalabas kami ng t-shirt line. And we actually launched it last month. Actually, it took a while because pandemic and the work days and work hours ng supplier medyo putol-putol. But finally, i-raos namin and finally nalabas na namin. So we put our hearts into it. Pinag-combine namin yung experience namin sa industry. So it's a combined ng mga around more than 30 years of experience in the fashion retail industry. So we made sure that the tela is comfy. It's 100% cotton. I've actually tried it on myself. Very, very comfortable. Nasuot ko na siya sa initan at kulay itim pa ang sinuot ko sa initan. And honestly, hindi ako na-haggard. Na-wash test ko rin siya. Na-test ko rin yung print quality. Sobrang ganda ng print quality na pinagawa namin. Hindi siya yung tulad ng ibang t-shirts na nilalabas na parang pinilansya mo lang with transfer paper yung prints. Pina-digital print namin to. Pina-silk screen namin to sa supplier. Lato is from scratch. Even the measurement, I personally did the grading for the measurements ng t-shirts. So the fit is really for Filipinos. Please check our IG out and I hope you support us because supporting us would also support the suppliers, especially this pandemic, mga tao sa printers, mga mananahe. So supporting this endeavor of ours would actually support a lot of people and makapaglabas pa kami ng mas marami pang magandang designs. Ayun, thank you! Share some facts about the ZZ plant in general. So first fact is that this plant, it's an aroid. It's related to philodendron, pothos, alocasias, and all of those other plants. So this aroid can naturally be found in Eastern Africa, Tanzania, Zanzibar, but can also be found in Western Africa. So having those countries in mind, it means that the ZZ plant isn't really found in an all year round arid season or dry season. The ZZ plant isn't really a desert plant. It's more of a tropical plant, and the dry season lasts for only around 4 months a year. Then the rest of the year, it's just wet season. So again, ZZ plants, they're not desert plants, but they're really tropical plants. The Royal Botanic Kew in London states that ZZ plants actually grow in tropical moist forest, savannas, geophytes on forest floors or stony ground. And then most sellers actually market them as arid plant. Scientific texts says otherwise because, like I said earlier, these plants naturally occur in tropical moist forests. So basically, that's not really a desert situation or an arid situation. I will place a link in the description box. It's an article that compiled data about the ZZ plant, so it's all in there if you want to read more. So now, I want to talk about this plant here. So this is a ZZ Raven. It's actually a fairly new plant in the sense that it was only discovered or it only appeared back in 2006, and it first appeared actually in South Korea in a nursery that is propagating regular ZZ plants. So basically, the nursery owner saw a black stalk growing on a regular ZZ plant, and so what he did was he tried propagating it, and the propagation was successful. Then he eventually applied for patent, and the patent of the plant was approved back in December 25, 2018. And another name actually for this plant is ZZ Dowon. So now, as you can see, my plant is green. The ZZ Raven actually starts out bright green or lime green, then eventually turns black as the stalks mature. So right now, the stalks are still maturing, and as you can see, so it's starting to turn black. So those are little facts about this beautiful plant. Now I wanna talk about how I care for it. First is light. With light, actually, I give this morning sun and bright indirect light all day. Yes, it's true that they tolerate low light conditions, but it doesn't really make the plant thrive. So for me, it's best to give them direct sun, morning sun, and then bright indirect light the rest of the day, because that's the best light situation I can give it, since my balcony is northeast facing, and that's the light that I get. I also think since these plants are really very waxy, they can tolerate direct sun for the whole day, because usually for waxy plants, they tolerate direct light, direct sun, more sun. Next is medium. For 2 years now actually, since I got it and repotted it for the first time, I haven't really changed the medium, and I guess it's okay because new growth on my plant. These I will discuss later. Anyway, here's my medium. It's almost around 80 to 90% pumice, and then the rest is soilless organic medium. That really works for me. So the medium is also like this because, like I said, in their natural environment, they can be found in rocky areas or they're growing on stone. Next is watering. Online, and most articles say that you only water this plant once a month, once every 3 weeks, once in a blue moon. Personally, I water this at least once a week or twice a week, or when the medium's visibly dry. Actually, I've had this plant indoors for around 2 weeks now, and one would expect that, the medium would dry slower. What I've noticed is that the medium also dries as if this plant is in my balcony. So watering indoors for this right now is around once a week. And as a result of constant watering, the rhizome underneath this actually I think has filled up the whole pot. I can't actually remove the plant now. And then we have fat stalks. As you can see, it's not really evident with the new stalks since they're still maturing, but on the mature stalks that has no leaves, they're actually fat. This is the result of constant watering and not actually making them, suffer by not watering them for months at a time. And here's a photo of my plant when I first got it. Yes, it is given that these plants can go for a long time without water because in their natural environment, they actually have a dry season. But the thing is, the dry season only lasts for 4 months. And then I guess it's constant rain or sporadic rain. And then one would think, why doesn't the rhizome rot? It is because, like I mentioned earlier, they're found in rocky areas. So basically the water just drains down. So that's what I'm trying to emulate here. So this plant doesn't really sit on water that much. That's why I am able to water it at least once or twice a week. Next is propagation. So there are really multiple ways of propagating this plant. One is cut a stalk, then place it in water or place it in wet sand. Or another way is propagation via leaf, cutting it until here, this whole thing, and then stick it in soil or stick it in wet sand or stick it in water and wait. Propagating them is very easy. And then recently, I've unintentionally propagated my plant by removing one of the leafless stalk, and I just left it somewhere in my balcony around 6 months ago and forgot about it, thinking that it would just dry up and die, but instead it decided to do something else. So around last week or 2 weeks ago, I saw this. So I saw this growth, and then I just placed it in a constantly moist medium. Then roots came out immediately, actually a day or two after. It produced roots. Finally, I want to talk about dormancy. And yes, ZZ plants actually can go dormant, and one cause is seasonal dormancy, meaning they actually normally go dormant once a year. And another cause is dormancy because of water deprivation. Yes, actually sometimes depriving them of water is counterproductive, and it will actually make your plant drop foliage, and something like this will happen. Well, I guess what happened with mine is seasonal dormancy because I often water mine. And speaking of seasonal dormancy, I think it's around June to September. So there's a chance for your ZZ plant to actually go dormant. Actually, after that time period last year, since ZZ plants are really, slow growers, a few months later, we have this. So that's how I take care of my ZZ plant. I am just going to reiterate how I take care of my plant. So for light, I gave it morning sun and bright indirect light the whole day. For medium, I gave it 80 to 90% pumice, and then the rest is organic soilless medium. For watering, I water once or twice a week or whenever the medium is visibly dry. For propagation, it can be leaf or stalk cuttings, and actually there's a lot of resources on YouTube. You can search for that. And lastly, dormancy. Let's not let our ZZ plants go dormant because they don't look great dormant. And to prevent that, we should really water them more often. Not once a month, maybe once a week in a very, very gritty medium. Because based on scientific texts, they're tropical plants. And contrary to most ZZ plant care online in general, let's water them more often. Another perk of watering your ZZ plant more often is this, fat stalks. And a fat stalk actually looks better versus this, wrinkled stalks on a regular ZZ plant. That's it for today's video. That's how I take care of my ZZ Raven plant, and I hope it gave you another perspective on how to take care of it. And then take everything that I've said with a grain of salt, because plant care really is not set in stone. I hope what works for me works for you. If you liked my video, please give me a thumbs up, share it. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Please subscribe, hit that bell button for updates on my new videos. Please follow me on Instagram, talk to me there, I'm more active there. Thank you for watching, happy planting, and see you in my next video. Hi, I'm Aris. Ooh.